welcome to Mint. I'm Amina Sheikh and I have with me Mr. Jain, who's the CEO of Fever. He's going to be talking to us about the third phase of radio, which is one of the most important things that the industry has been waiting for some time now. How do you really see the whole third phase, panning out? Because there has been a lot of talk about the whole, whether it's going to be an e-auction or not. There's been a debate also about the same thing.
So, if you look at phase 3 is going to now cover about 840 odd towns, which would mean that it would get a footprint cover of almost about 700 to 800 million odd people. So it's going to be very, very large in terms of reach. Radio suddenly will be across, in excess of 950 odd towns in India, which is going to be in line with amongst the largest penetrations in the world. The approach and the process is going to be more on the e-auction route. The e-auction route works on in descending order. So what it means is that in markets where there is already a station, so let's say Delhi will have an additional one station which has to be, which will be up for e-auction. Mumbai will have 2, Hyderabad will have 4. So the starting point is going to be the highest bid in phase 2 is going to be the starting point in phase 3. So e-auction route is the one which is being recommended. And you never know which way it goes because typically in e-auction routes you can end up paying a lot more than what the asset deserves. If anything, if you look at the telecom experience, that's what it. So let's see which way it goes.
So how much money do you think a radio station, an established radio station, let's say for example Fever or Radio Mirchi, would have earmarked for this sort of an auction?
It's very difficult to give a particular number to it because these things are earmarked as far as whatever your strategy is. All I can tell you is that as far as we are concerned, we would be looking at participating in phase 3, and our strategy would be by and large looking at our missing links, which would be in some markets. As far as the industry is concerned, I think there would be a lot of players who would be wanting to get into the D-class towns or the Tier 4 towns. Fever is certainly not looking at the Tier 4 towns. We will be pretty much looking at the larger markets only.
Measurement of radio listenership continues to be an issue, and that's probably one of the things that has also hampered growth for a long time. Is that something that the industry is looking at working out?
Yeah, there has been a lot of discussion and debate around this. Currently, there is radio audio measurement system which is called RAM. That is the currency which the radio industry is currently been using. But there are issues around that because there are players who do believe that RAM is not the accurate number, and somehow there are studies around Indian readership survey. So IRS studies also being floated. But if you ask me my own personal point of view, I think the only syndicated study which is specifically designed for radio, which does justice to radio, is radio audio measurement system, which is RAM. IRS is a study which is for print. And then on print, you're trying to, just expose the radio study, which is not the right thing to do. So I think in absence of anything else, it is RAM. RAM is the only most authenticated study right now.
So what about, in the panel discussion, there was this point that somebody raised about that we should have a body like how IBF is, for the television broadcasters. So is this something, have there been discussions on, forming a similar lobby body for the radio fraternity?
Yeah, actually, we are all part of something which is called the AROI, which is Association of Radio Operators of India. And there are discussions which have to be done for... we have to get into an IBF kind of a body. Unfortunately, what has happened is that there are no major concrete steps as yet. But if you ask me, with phase 3 coming in, the stakes are going to be very, very high. I think as soon as phase 3 is underway, suddenly you will see a lot of work happening on this as well.
So will it be like a body that will also then look at how measurement is done? Because that's what IBF has done. IBF has clearly come out with, BARC now. That's what they are looking at as a parallel measurement system. So is that something that you guys will consider also before the start of rollout of phase 3?
I think if you ask me, the charter of the body should be about how do you first protect the commercial interests of the industry. So today, if somebody doesn't pay a radio station on time, there is no governing body. So I think the first things first, the first is to how do you get the commercial discipline around radio, and how does the radio industry safeguard itself against any collection issues. After that, I think the next one is going to be about a study which the entire radio industry is aligned to.
So what is it that you're contemplating or considering to do to sort this whole non-payment or not paying at the right time credit policy changes, or how does it work then?
Look, today I think it's very simple. We have a list of hot clients, and we have a list of customers whom we don't want to deal with. So typically it works at a very internal discipline mechanism. So there are people whom we do business regularly with, and there are people whom we blacklisted, and that's the only way currently that we are managing it. But there is no, I would say that there is no external body which insulates us or which ensures us from that kind of an exposure currently. Yes, it is under consideration. Clearly under consideration. As a body, yes, absolutely.
And with this whole phase 3 rollout, what's the kind of increase or growth in advertising revenue coming to the radio fraternity? What is the forecast?
Today, if you ask me, radio is about 4 to 4.5% of the entire media spend. In its entirety, somewhere down the line, it should be about 7.5 to 8%. So I think in the next immediate future, over the next couple of years, radio industry should start seeing numbers in excess of 3 to 3,500 crores. Up from, it should be doubling over the next 3 to 5 years, for sure.
What are the challenges that you see after the rollout of phase 3? Will it be programming? Will it be, bringing in sync? Because you have guys like Reliance who, sync their programming with television and radio. How do other competitors see that then?
Once phase 3 comes in, and when you have to penetrate such a large, so many number of towns, the couple of challenges are going to be there in terms of, the entire infrastructure. How do you go ahead and set an infrastructure to cater to so many markets? But I think there is a way which has been done which is of common networking and, providing a hub and spoke model, which is that you could be programming from one particular place and, being relaying in 3 or 4 markets. The second big one is going to be in terms of manpower. To get skilled manpower, whether it is on the programming front, whether it's going to be on the technical front, is going to be a bit of an issue. But I think over the last 10 years or so, from the time radio industry started, there is enough talent available in the market. I think it's going to be very good for the industry. So that's what I personally feel.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
To know more on Ficky Frames, log on to livemint.com.